So I guess, folks, in the final analysis, Kimberly Hawkins is indeed entitled to her own opinions. She's just not entitled to her own facts, or so-called facts. As well, the law of the land rightfully states that you cannot deny someone's service based on their religion, their ethnicity, their race, their nationality, their skin color. So she has apparently run afoul of that with her No Zionists Allowed policy. David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. And folks, if you can, please visit journalistdefensefund.com. And if you're able to, make a donation. For some of the stories we do, when we try to bring you the other side of the story, there are forces afoot that want to shut us down, even violently. And that's why sometimes we need bodyguards, like today, in order to practice journalism, and that costs us money. So once again, if you can make a donation, please go to journalistdefensefund.com. Well, like I said, I'm in Toronto, and I'm outside the infamous Foodbenders restaurant. And the question arises, has Foodbenders owner Kimberly Hawkins bitten off more than she can chew? Because certainly when you look at her social media postings, her policies at the restaurant in terms of discriminating against some clientele, well, there has been some blowback. Now, you might recall we first came here a month ago, more than a month ago, to report on Kimberly Hawkins putting a sandwich board. I believe that's the one there. But instead of saying cash only, and there's a story behind that, Kimberly Hawkins put the words F the police. She spelt out the full F word. And even worse, she went onto social media and said F the police's wives and F the police's children. As you know, that garnered some considerable blowback, and in something that had to be under the category of perverse irony, Kimberly allegedly phoned the police because of the blowback she was getting, but all the while accusing the police of creating some sort of conspiracy to put her out of business. Often what Hawkins does is make accusations without any kind of proof. For example, when I tried to get her on camera, here's how that went last month with someone I believe to be Miss Hawkins, because she wouldn't admit to being Miss Hawkins.
What does defund Israel mean?
Please leave.
Okay, I'll leave. But what does defund Israel mean?
It means stop giving Israel $3.8 billion over the next 10 years to kill innocent little Palestinian children and babies and nurses and journalists and doctors.
Oh, is that what Israel does?
Please leave. You are a genocidal maniac. You are a right-wing fear-mongering.
I'm a genocidal maniac?
You know, folks, I can't even remember the last time I eradicated an anthill from my property. But in any event, since the anti-cop fiasco, Kimberly Hawkins has doubled down and tripled down when it comes to her hatred. She has even gone after specific individuals, essentially defaming them. Before I get to that, she also posted comments that got her in trouble, noting that Zionists are not welcome at her restaurant, and she compared Zionists to Nazis. Those comments led to condemnation of Ms. Hawkins by Mayor John Tory, Ontario Premier Doug Ford, and even Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And that was only the beginning. Food delivery platforms such as DoorDash and Uber, they severed ties with Foodbenders. And, well, as you can see by the cash-only sign, she can no longer accept debit and credit payments. The facilitator of that service has apparently severed ties with Foodbenders as well. Meanwhile, it should be noted that the City of Toronto is investigating Hawkins for discrimination, and if she's found guilty of that, that could indeed mean that her business license will be revoked. But that is only the tip of the iceberg, folks, because there is also a considerable defamation lawsuit that has been served to Ms. Hawkins going back a week ago, and that was from Toronto resident Shai DeLuca. In his statement of claim, DeLuca is described as a proud Jew who is both a Canadian and Israeli citizen. He grew up in the state of Israel, where he served his compulsory term of military service as a sergeant in the Israel Defense Forces. Like most Jews in Canada and around the world, DeLuca is a Zionist. He believes in and supports the state of Israel as the national home for the Jewish people. And that's what Mr. DeLuca had to say in his statement of claim. Now, the defamatory publication by Hawkins contained the following statement regarding DeLuca, quote, "He's literally gathering his other whining Zionist friends to attack Palestinians and others in support of foodbenders," end quote. And then there's this quote, "This guy," meaning DeLuca, "is one of the people who was attacking foodbenders. He's an IDF soldier, aka terrorist, yet he's using the BLM movement for likes. How can you sit here and post about BLM when you have your sniper rifle aimed at Palestinian children," end quote. And these are, of course, astonishing allegations, but par for the course. Ms. Hawkins has not a scintilla of evidence to back up these accusations. And that means Mr. DeLuca filed a defamation lawsuit on July 10th, seeking a total of $750,000 in damages. That's a lot of kale salad. But wait, there's more, because last week a complaint was filed with the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal against foodbenders based on Hawkins' stance of refusing service to Zionists at her store. The complainant is 86-year-old Elena Ashkenazi, and she claims that attacking Zionists is a, quote, "thinly veiled euphemism for anti-Semitic hatred," end quote. So I guess, folks, in the final analysis, Kimberly Hawkins is indeed entitled to her own opinions. She's just not entitled to her own facts, or so-called facts. As well, the law of the land rightfully states that you cannot deny someone's service based on their religion, their ethnicity, their race, their nationality, their skin color. So she has apparently run afoul of that with her no Zionists allowed policy. But then again, that's the way they roll at Foodbenders. As you can see, soup, wraps, salads, sandwiches, and a heaping helping of hatred served up fresh daily. Now, folks, I was hoping to get Kimberly Hawkins' side of the story. When we were across the street, she recognized me, gave me the middle finger. I don't think she was saying I'm number one. And then she proceeded to lock the door. However, I'm in full view of her, so if she does decide to come out, I am more than happy to speak with her. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Well, folks, bringing you the other side of the story does not come cheap. Sometimes we need security in order to bring you the other side of the story, because there are forces afoot that don't want us to bring you the other side of the story. If you can, please go to journalistdefensefund.com. That's journalistdefensefund.com, and make a donation.